Patriots, Eric Corcoran here in Greenville, South Carolina. I am so proud to be in the upstate and meeting with business owners, but today is a special day because today I'm talking about a school for liberty. I'll tell you how much have we needed that with parents going through so much and children. And I'm here, look at this, at the Lifestyle Creators Academy with Ryan and Wesley. It's so great to be doing this with you both.
Yes,
Thank you
you
so
too.
much.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So tell me, both of you tell me, why are you patriots, first of all? Ryan.
This is the best country on the planet. And I think when we started hearing more and more people, like when certain things were happening around the country, you would hear things like, oh, like, I'm going to go back here, I'm going to leave here. Well, it's like, this is the best place to be on earth. We are the most privileged place. We have the most opportunity. And when people would start to talk about those things, it would just be amplified. And, this is what needs to be amplified. Like the fact that like we live in the best country on the planet and it is a great place. And, I truly do believe like we can keep America great and keep America getting to continue to be better.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Wesley, why are you a patriot?
I love God and I love freedom, and I will fight for both of those until the day I die.
Amen. Oh, that is so awesome. Well, I hope you're convinced by what you both said. They are truly patriots. Well, let me ask you this. So this is a big move, guys. Starting an academy, right? You were talking about how God just kept putting on your heart. So how did this happen?
So I tell everyone this is God's plan, 100%, anything we've ever thought about doing. But yeah, when all the schools shut down and then they opened back up and they were doing masks and temp checks and hand sanitizer 800 times a day and all this ridiculousness, I was like, well, our kids aren't going. And so we started homeschooling and doing the same curriculum that they were doing in school. I started to realize what was actually going on in school. And so I was like, okay, well, they're never going back. What are we doing? And then I started doing a ton of research on the education system and why it was created to begin with and how it's just put in place to dumb us down and be robots, to be good citizens, to basically pay taxes. And
don't question anything.
Right. And don't question anything, to read a sign on the door and do what you're told. So one day God told me to open a school and I was like, no, I'm not opening a school. That's crazy. We run an online business. We stay in sweatpants all day. Like I'm not. And within 2 or 3 weeks, it became anything I could think of. I started getting excited and getting all these ideas of like things we could do with the kids and how we can change their lives. And I went up to Ryan and I said, I think we're going to open a school. And he was like, okay. And here we are.
That's great.
And so basically I was like, all right, God, if this is what you want us to do, you will guide us every single day, every step of the way. You keep putting the pieces of the puzzle out and I'll put them together. And yeah, it's been a journey. It's been a tough one because it is against spiritual. It's in the spiritual realm because we are going to be breaking generational curses in these kids, in these families. We are going to create humans that critically think and use their imagination and know how to problem solve and think outside the box, and they're not going to be easily controlled anymore. And so it's been a huge spiritual battle.
You're a threat to the whole system.
Exactly. And so, but yeah, I mean, everything we've grown in our faith like crazy over the past couple years because I'm like, hey, God, this is your battle. Handle it. And so now we're 2 weeks away from our opening day.
Oh, that's so exciting. Wow. Well, Ryan, from your perspective, what do you want parents to know about this? And what do you want to see happen with this academy?
I think just from like our target audience of like who we attracted and like where we were fitting in with a lot of things, we knew that we started to drift into is homeschool the best route, and then we started to figure out a lot of homeschool parents. They felt the same way we felt. There was a reason that their kids weren't going to not just public school but traditional school. Period. And from the other side, we've always been business owners, and so from the entrepreneurial side, we've always felt like we wanted our kids to not get caught up in the just the motion, like going through the motions every single day,
regurgitating stuff, not really learning it.
Yes, right.
Right, and really realizing, and it was a lot of, there's a lot of different things. I think this whole story was like, it's all God, because it was just perfect timing on every little thing that happened, and going to like this event and hearing this person speak, and it was like this one seed got planted and another seed got planted, and it was like, then it became this. And so we take that mix of imagine, I mean, there's a reason why it's in a house, because
I love that too. Yeah.
Imagine that's what school is supposed to be. So we can imagine what homeschool would be like, but you don't have to like you be the homeschooler. Like we don't have to be the teachers. We can bring in the right, not just teacher, but bring in the right coaches to ask the right questions. Bring in the right influencers locally to help kids learn the skills that they need to learn or want to learn. And so it's really just been a perfect storm of like being able to provide something that's most parents probably want.
They do. They really do. But if you get back to the early days of education, you guys know this, there were smaller classrooms. People had more hands-on learning. So speak to that for a second, because I think a lot of people, beyond the political stuff, education being fun and hands-on. What's your heart on that?
Yeah, so that's really why I got so passionate about all of it, because when we were doing the curriculum, the same one they were using in school, it was worksheet after worksheet, test after test. Everyone was miserable. Everyone ended up crying at the end of the day. And then I was realizing that they didn't have a chance to actually find out what they were good at, find out what they were like curious about, because we're too busy doing this stupid worksheet work,
and then taking the time to emotionally like disconnect from like what just happened over
like so our daughter loves art, but we didn't even have time to do art because we were so caught up doing these worksheets every day. And I'm like, that's why kids graduate high school and then they have no idea what they want to do when they grow up, because they were never given the chance to experience anything to even know what their passions are.
And they're told like, well, if you like art, you can't make any money doing that. I mean, they're told.
Or you have to go to college for 4 years before. So here we're doing, it's project led, it's student led. The students tell us what they want to learn about, and we will provide the right coaches to guide them and give them those different experiences, different opportunities to find their God-given purpose, their passions.
I love that, yes.
We're going to do, cooking. We have a health and nutrition coach. We're doing.
You've got people lined up. I want to make sure
we are fully staffed right now, which is also a God thing. Every single day since this started, I'm like, God, bring me the people that is going to help with this mission. And he's done just that every step of the way. And so we have a gardening coach. We have a dad that's offering to do woodworking classes. We have sewing. We have 2 art teachers. It's going to be amazing.
And these are real practical skills.
Right. We're going to teach about finances and what you have to do in order to buy a home and, things like that. So you don't have to be 40 by the time you buy a home because you don't know anything about credit. You end up getting credit cards at 18 and messing it up for 10 years.
Yeah, your life is like in shambles.
You don't know what you're actually like, what you want to do because you're just right at 18. You're expected to pay the bills and get a job. And so you just you get lost in this mix of.
It's like one of the words that we really established this on was mastery. And if you give any human, no matter what age they are, I think that a lot of times we've noticed that if you put a kid in a place, and no matter how old that kid is, from like 2 years old, if you put them in an environment that they can like soak up, they can do so much more than we give them credit to do.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And so we've noticed that like if you lean in on mastery and experience, then the faster they can like figure out what they don't want to do, then the faster they'll figure out what they really want to really do.
Their passion.
Right.
And when you give a kid the ability and the environment to teach another kid. So if you've got a 12-year-old that's teaching the 10-year-olds, and the 10-year-olds are teaching the 8 and
Yeah.
7.
It's infectious. It really is, yeah.
And everyone's being guided by a lead coach and lead facilitators that are there to guide. But when you truly have learned something, you can teach it.
You can.
Right.
You can.
And that's what doesn't happen in traditional education. They just say, like, if you learned it, you can, basically learn how to pass the test.
Right?
Yeah.
And then along the way, the older kids that are teaching the younger kids are learning confidence, mentorship, leadership, all the skills that they're clearly missing today also.
A lot of people.
And they're learning responsibility, like it's student led. So every morning we're going to talk about what goals do you have to accomplish today? And they present like, I want to finish this on my math lesson. I want to finish this on my art project. And it gives them the responsibility of their own education and puts them in this mindset of, I am going to always be learning. And I want to always be learning every single day.
Now, here's my heart on this, folks. We need to get behind this. Come on, right? I mean, you're hearing this and like, this should be music to your ears. We have not had this for years in our country. So how can people get behind this? Volunteer-wise, donating, give us a feel for how people can rally behind this.
Yeah, all of it. I mean, we are always taking volunteers. Like I said, we want this to be a community thing. We have a lot of volunteers that have already said, like, I want to teach this class. I want to teach this class. So if there's a skill that you feel like kids need to know, we would love to have you here.
Field trips. I mean, like if you have a business that
we could take a field trip.
That we can we want kids to be able to see different things that they don't see on an everyday basis. But we also want kids to be able to like ask questions and know that like, what would it look like if I did start a sewing business? What are the options of that? What we want kids to understand is like, you don't have to wait until you're 18 to start making money. Like there's kids out there that are making millions.
And you don't have to climb up the corporate ladder to make money, to make a living.
It's okay if your skill doesn't require a degree, then like let's not waste 4 years, just somewhere.
That,
we can do that because we don't. I mean, I remember as a baseball player, I could see the difference between guys who were drafted in high school and guys that didn't, and there was a different level of maturity.
Sure. Yeah.
But what happens is we don't put an intention on that maturity at a young age, so then we lean on college to grow up. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And it's like that's not the case. Like we should be growing up, now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And learning how to be responsible humans. So when it comes to ways you can help, I mean,
definitely donations.
Yes, and I strongly say that. Yes,
definitely donations. This, like I said, this has been us building from scratch with a lot of help from the community as far as like hands-on.
But like we had no venture capitalists.
Right.
I mean, a lot of companies rely on investors and venture capitalists like we.
So, I mean, donations, we have a lot of things that we want to do with the kids. So we do need donations, and we also want donations for scholarships. We have a family right now.
This is really good.
They wanted to join. Her daughter, it's a single mom. She has a son and a daughter. The daughter ended up having some health issues. She didn't want to go to the medical route. She wanted to go the herbal route, and she knows that's going to cost a lot of money. And so she had to choose. And so I'm like, well, obviously choose the health. But we're here if you need us. And so we've been trying to raise some scholarship funds for them so they can still come and get the health experts that they need. But yeah, that would be just a huge, huge thing for us to be able to give kids that want to come here and that deserve to come here that just can't afford it.
Absolutely. And look, we're in a time of choosing, folks. I mean, in every sector, right, of society, you got our churches, you got our schools, you got our businesses. We can choose to vote for freedom with where we put our money. We can choose to vote for freedom where we put our time. Volunteering. Why would you go to a woke church when you go to a Patriot church? Why would you support a woke school when there's an alternative? And you guys are that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's beyond exciting to me.
Even share. I mean, I think as business owners, you see things on social all the time. Like, you know what? If you don't have the time or you don't have the money, you just sharing a post and putting it in front of other people is a beautiful thing. Like, I mean, you don't know how far that goes.
Yeah,
in
for
certain
sure.
instances. And one of the things that we did, I'm not sure if you knew this or not, but we did start a nonprofit because we knew that we were only able to take 50 or 100 kids that at our school. And so when it comes to sponsoring the business fair that we do, when it comes to sponsoring the father-son workshops or the mother-daughter workshops, or the things that we do around the community, sponsoring those things, volunteering at those things, that it goes a long way, because our mission is not just to help the kids that go here and the parents that are enrolled here. Our mission is to change the traditional education system from the inside out. And we know we can do that if we can change the people that are showing up in it. So we can take a kid that's in public school and we can change his heart and his mind and his soul, and we can get him moving in a direction. Then he shows up at public school as the leader that creates the wave that changes the educational system from the inside out. And that's our mission.
It's transformative.
Yeah.
It really is. No, that's fantastic. Well, look, before we do the tour, there'll be a separate video we're going to do. Let me ask you about this. What's your message to people who are thinking about doing this themselves, thinking about leaving the traditional education system, thinking about homeschooling, thinking about just standing up for truth in the education arena?
I would just say,
do it.
Amen. That's a good answer.
I think the biggest thing is educate yourself. I think if we go back to the beginning of this, really taking a microscope and looking at this, us getting to this place didn't just snap of a finger happen. There was education, there were videos, there was conversations, there was books, multiple books. There were
lots of prayer.
Lots of prayer. And so
lots.
What you have to realize is, like, you're going against the grain of the norm, and if you're gonna get pushback from your friends, you're gonna get pushback from parents, community. But when you're educated, then your confidence is going to really just like skyrocket, because you know what's right and what's wrong and what you feel right. If you're uneducated, then you're not going to have that confidence, and you're likely going to be like, you know what, I'd rather keep my kids in school here because I don't want to hear it from my neighbors. Oh, so-and-so is going to that, so-and-so did that. But when you're educated and you know that you can stand in like a new belief, because you've educated that belief and you feel it, you know that like what decision you're making is the right thing for you, your family, your kids, your grandkids, like your people that you'll never ever meet. You're making a decision for them, and you're making a decision that could impact the country.
So 2 books: Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill, number 1 all-time favorite book, and Dumbing Us Down by John Gatto. Those were the 2 books that I read that was like, I am never putting my kids in the system again. And that's what kind of got the ball rolling on homeschooling and then this. So seriously, read those books. You can listen to them too. They're on Audible. But yeah, it's you got to take them out of the system. You have to just make it work. Like, you have to get to a point where you're like, I am not allowing this anymore, and I am removing my kids from the system, and we're going to do what we have to do to make it work. Like, there's no other option.
And I do want to say this too. There are some great patriots fighting within the education system, and thank you for what you're doing.
Yes.
Because I'm big on school choice. You as a parent know where your child should be. Let me finally ask you guys this. So what's the easiest way to contact you to see what you're doing?
I mean, you can follow me on Facebook, Wesley McMorris, and then from there you can find like the school page. We also have a school group. It's just Lifestyle Creators Academy, and that's where we post all the upcoming events, all the updates, all the new coaches. So yeah, that's probably going to be the easiest. And then feel free to just shoot me a message on Facebook.
Yeah, and we're in this together. I think that's a really big thing.
We are.
Because we do have plans on expanding and franchising with the right people. And so we've got really big goals for this thing. And so if you're in a place where you're like, man, there are other schools in the nation that are similar to what
Sure.
we do. I mean, we're not the only one in the
Mhm.
country that decided to do this.
Right.
And so, one, do your research. If you find a place locally that is similar to what we're doing or has similar beliefs, then do your research and get connected to them. If they don't, then let's do this together, and we can band together, and we can see what the next move is and where the next move is, for this organization. Because again, we just don't want to fix this in
Yeah.
Greenville, South Carolina.
No,
Like this
start.
is,
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
we can make one move at a time, and you may be the next person that is partnered with us. So
Amen. Well, in closing of this video, I will just say this, that if you're not excited by this, there's something wrong with you, because I am really excited about it. And, parents, students, business owners, get behind Lifestyle Creators Academy. And Wesley and Ryan, thank you so much for
Thank
standing up and
you.
being leaders
Yeah,
in
we
the
appreciate
education
you.
arena. More to come. Awesome. Great. So